Have you ever noticed that one person who just seems to move differently? He's powerful and totally confident, but he's not trying to be the loud leader, the alpha, and he's definitely not following anyone, the beta. That quiet force you see, that's the guy the world calls the Sigma male. You see him, and you know instantly he's different. He doesn't need to be in the popular crowd or play the silly games to climb the social ladder. He lives with a rare, quiet kind of strength, completely unbothered by what everyone else is talking about, chasing, or expecting. He refuses to follow the common path and instead does only what makes deep, logical sense to him. But here is the really important secret that most people miss about this kind of person. The Sigma male isn't a single, simple type of guy. It's not like he has one easy personality you can describe in a single word. If you think of a rainbow, he's like a whole spectrum of different strengths and amazing qualities, all built on one core foundation, being completely independent. Every person who identifies as Sigma has their own special way of using that strong, independent energy. Maybe you've been reading about the lone wolf and thought, that sounds like me, but something always feels a little off, like a missing piece. Maybe you are super smart and brilliant when working alone, but when you do show up in a group, you're instantly charismatic and everyone is drawn to you. If that feeling rings true, it's because you haven't yet found your specific type. Understanding your type is the key to unlocking your best power. The lone wolf isn't just one kind of solitary thinker, he's an entire system of highly strategic individuals. Today, for the Solitude Scroll, we are going to dive deep into the real psychology of this powerful, unclassified group. We will uncover the 5 different and unique types of Sigma males. This is much more than a simple fun quiz, it's a complete guide that will help you understand and confirm your unique strategic advantages, giving you a huge, unshakable power because you will truly know who you are, how your mind works best, and how to operate without limits. We start by looking at 2 types defined by what they spend their mental energy on. The first one focuses all his power on his own internal world and amazing intelligence, and the second focuses on the external world of pure, unrestricted movement and experience. Type 1, the Observer-Strategist, the Pure Intellect. Let's look at the first type of lone wolf, the Observer-Strategist, sometimes called the Pure Intellect. This is the ultimate thinking Sigma. He is defined by a super clear mind and a really deep, strategic way of thinking that leaves no detail untouched. His main focus is always inside his own head, and he views being alone not as a break, but as a strategic observation post, the only place quiet enough to truly watch, think, and plan without any outside noise. This Sigma has a habit that looks odd to others, which we call the recursive thought loop. This means he lets a single problem or challenge bounce around and around in his mind, analyzing it from every possible angle, the strategy, the ethical impact, the psychological effect, and the weakness of the system itself. While other people quickly dismiss this intense focus as simple overthinking, it is actually the core secret to his genius. He is running endless simulations. He will always trust the careful results of his own logic more than what everyone else easily agrees on. He understands that consensus rarely equals truth. His greatest power is foresight. He's like a master chess player who can effortlessly see the consequences and patterns 10 moves before anyone else even understands the rules. Because his mind is always projecting the future, he doesn't spend time trying to be the loud leader of a group, he is only concerned with making the overall strategy perfect and unshakable. He constantly collects information from every interaction, acting as a data filter, and because he is focused on signal, he naturally avoids pointless small talk. He only speaks when his words hold a real, important message, ensuring his contribution is valuable, not just random noise. He naturally loves subjects that rely on pure, unmoving logic, like advanced science, data analysis, and designing complex operational systems. His strength isn't about being physically or socially tough. It's about having unparalleled control over his own thoughts and mind. The observer-strategist must watch out for one main trap: analysis paralysis. He can sometimes get so caught up in perfecting the plan, in running that recursive thought loop, that he delays the first step of action. His learning is to trust his calculated strategy and move with quiet confidence, knowing that perfection is the enemy of execution. Type 2, the Nomad-Adventurer, the pure freedom. Next, we look at the second powerful type of lone wolf, the Nomad-Adventurer, known for his pure freedom. This is the most unanchored Sigma. He is totally committed to constantly chasing freedom and new, unrestricted experiences, and he will never compromise that for comfort. He physically cannot stand being tied down by a boring, predictable routine, owning too much unnecessary stuff, or having stable, fixed places that limit his mobility. His unique, defining habit is the sudden exit. The very moment a job, a relationship, or even a city starts to feel like it's trapping him or going against his core need for independence, he simply vanishes. He leaves without feeling bad, without needing to say sorry, and without explanation. He lives by one clear rule: he believes he doesn't owe an explanation to anyone who doesn't respect his fundamental need for movement and freedom. His greatest power is adaptability. He is the eternal student of the world. He learns how to be good at things not by studying textbooks, but by diving right into real-life situations and mastering skills through necessity. He fiercely embraces the minimalist strategy, which means keeping his material needs super small so he can maintain absolute mobility, the ability to move anywhere at any time with zero financial or material burden. While the observer-strategist builds his fortress inside his mind, the nomad-adventurer sees the entire planet as his workshop, never staying in one place long enough to gather moss or debts. He finds his true self and his greatest strength in the unknown, and he naturally does well in uncertain situations because he understands deeply that depending on others is the biggest strategic weakness you can have. His true value comes from his ability to survive and thrive anywhere, without being weighed down by possessions or attached to people who would limit his next journey. The nomad-adventurer must be aware of the opposite trap, the stagnation trap. Because he is constantly moving and starting over, he sometimes struggles to build the compounding wealth or long-term systemic power that other Sigmas achieve. His learning is to find ways to build scalable structures, like passive income streams, that fund his freedom without tying him down physically. His ultimate success is in making his sovereignty sustainable. Type 3, the silent warrior, controlled power. Now let's talk about the third type of lone wolf, the silent warrior, who is all about controlled power. This Sigma is defined by his serious, contained strength and how he uses his simple, quiet presence as a strategic weapon. He is the person everyone respects because they instinctively know he is dangerous, but no one in their right mind would ever dare to challenge him. His unique habit is the unblinking mirror. When he looks at you and engages in conversation, his deep, steady eye contact makes you immediately confront whether you are being honest and sincere. He acts like an unavoidable emotional mirror that instantly shows the other person if they are lying or contradicting themselves. He uses his quiet intensity to gain massive psychological leverage in any interaction. His greatest power is intimidation without effort. Unlike the alpha male, who tries to dominate by being loud and performing for everyone's attention, the silent warrior gets total control by simply not reacting. He saves all his emotional energy, which makes his eventual response, if he needs to give one, extremely accurate and powerfully effective. He conserves energy so his force is surgical. He uses what we call the emotional alchemy ritual, where he takes raw, disruptive feelings like anger or aggression and forces them to go through cold, calculated logic, turning that raw power into an unbreakable self-discipline. He never makes a situation worse with chaos, he simply ends the conflict or the game when it absolutely needs to be over. His power is the result of perfect internal control. The silent warrior's primary challenge is the isolation paradox. His intense gaze and controlled energy can sometimes push away genuine connections, leaving him only with relationships based on respect, not warmth. His learning is to practice selective vulnerability, allowing his chosen counsel, his few trusted allies, to see the soft, human core behind the impenetrable fortress, balancing ultimate control with necessary connection. Type 4, the Healed Sovereign, the Trauma Alchemist. Let's look at the fourth powerful type of lone wolf. The Healed Sovereign, often called the Trauma Alchemist. This Sigma is defined by going through a deep and often painful internal journey, like tough life experiences or childhood wounds, but coming out of it not damaged, but as a master of profound self-awareness. He has done the hard shadow work required to become completely emotionally whole and truly integrated. His unique, defining habit is the non-negotiable boundary. His ability to say no and mean it, to demand silence, and to put his inner peace first is completely solid because his boundaries were built from tough, painful lessons he learned in the past. He understands the real cost of letting people violate his space. His greatest power is emotional immunity. He knows himself so well that he can instantly recognize when other people are just following the crowd, tribal instinct, or trying to deal with their own old problems, unfinished business. He attracts others because he is already a complete person, a source of wholeness, not because he needs someone else to fill a gap. He becomes an expert in understanding and sharing deep feelings, empathy, offering a rare and meaningful connection rooted in the difficulties he has successfully overcome and transmuted. He is the wise mentor, the calm center of any storm, the man whose strength comes from knowing his truest, most authentic self. His presence is a safe place for others, built from the ruins and tough times of his own history, proving that vulnerability is the true foundation of unshakable strength. The Healed Sovereign's mission is to maintain his integrity gap. Having faced and conquered his own darkness, he must learn to be patient with those who are still struggling, offering guidance without adopting their chaos. His value is in being a lighthouse. He guides ships to safety, but he does not join them in the storm. Type 5, the System Architect, the Visionary. Now for our fifth and final type of lone wolf, the one driven by pure innovation and making massive, structural changes. This Sigma is defined by his never-ending focus on creating new things and completely changing the game. He has a deep and powerful vision to build structures, businesses, or systems that work totally outside of the normal rules and social ladders we usually follow. His unique habit is the anti-performance principle. He instantly refuses to waste any time on low-value activities like mandatory networking parties, pointless small talk, or seeking validation on social media. He believes 100% that the quality of his actual work should be the only thing that speaks for itself. His greatest power is creation. He sees the social world as something secondary and not that important, focusing all his primary energy on building the next big, lasting structure. He is the brilliant entrepreneur, the radical theorist, and the quiet visionary who actually changes how the world works, all from the privacy of his solitary space. He only talks to the world when he is ready to launch the final result. He doesn't care about getting approval for the effort he put in or the time he spent preparing. The system architect's challenge is the visibility void. Because he operates so intensely in silence, quiet execution. His early work often goes unseen, causing him to struggle with financing or scaling the initial product. His growth step is to master strategic visibility, sharing the impact of his work, not the process, at the exact right time to gain support and momentum for the launch. He must treat self-promotion not as bragging, but as a necessary tool to fund his grand vision. Synthesis, finding your type and leveraging the blend. It's pretty rare for any person to fit perfectly into just one of the boxes we talked about. The reality is that the most powerful Sigmas are a blend, a combination of these core traits. You might find that you have the super smart, planning mind of the Observer-Strategist, Type 1, but you also have the habit of the sudden exit like the Nomad-Adventurer, Type 2. This blend is your unique source code. The whole point of learning these 5 types isn't to put a simple, restrictive label on yourself, it's to give you clarification and strategic awareness. Figuring out your main type and your blend shows you what your natural strategic advantage is and exactly where you need to focus your self-improvement. For example, are you ignoring the important emotional work of the healed sovereign just to focus entirely on the smart thinking of the Observer-Strategist? That imbalance will lead to burnout. Or are you a nomad who needs to add some of the organized, future-proof discipline of the system architect into your life to make your freedom sustainable? Understanding your unique mix, your solitude scroll signature, is the final, most powerful step in turning your potential into a strong, purposeful power that no one can shake. This self-knowledge is the ultimate form of self-mastery. Remember, the lone wolf isn't one type of person, it is a whole spectrum of power. Your journey isn't to try and fit in with anyone else, but to define your own powerful independence. You need to recognize that being unique isn't a problem or a flaw, it's the main source of your greatest, most unshakable strength. You are the one who skips the old rules. You are the person who chooses your own inner peace over getting praise from the outside world. You are truly amazing because you discovered the ultimate truth: the pack only goes where you choose to lead. If this deep dive felt right to you, and if you now have a name for the strength you always knew you had, then it's time to make a commitment. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Solitude Scroll, and drop a comment below and tell me which of the 5 different types of Sigma males best describes your strategic power.